Now watch that.
Imagine for a moment that you're an antelope on the African plains. You're constantly on the alert for predators. But which do you fear most? The lion, strong enough to pull down a full-grown buffalo? He's at the very top of the food chain. Or the cheetah, slim and graceful, cheetahs can outdistance any other animal in a short pursuit, and that includes the fastest antelope. The chances are the animal you'd be most afraid of wouldn't be one of the big cats, but this creature, the African hunting dog. It may not look very dangerous to us, but the wildebeest know otherwise. Hunting dogs are often described as the most savage killers in the animal kingdom. They're certainly very efficient hunters. The effect these dogs have on the herds when they start hunting is unrivaled by any of Africa's other predators. But there's another, gentler side to this animal. The hunting dog is a highly sociable creature, and in the care of its young, a model of parenthood. Yet most people still think of this animal as a bloodthirsty terror of the plains. There's a saying which goes, give a dog a bad name and he'll live up to it. But is the hunting dog really as bad as its reputation suggests? Hunting dogs live on the open plains of Africa. They're found in packs from 2 to over 30 animals. Each pack of dogs roam over a vast home range, a nomadic existence dictated by the seasonal migrations of the game herds on which they prey. A single pack may cover hundreds of miles on its wanderings in the course of a year. Contrary to belief, antelope are not terrified merely by the sight of hunting dogs. They know when the dogs are preparing to hunt. At other times, they simply keep a watchful eye on them. A single dog isn't much cause for alarm, and the wildebeest view it with mild curiosity. Though they prey chiefly on antelope and gazelle, some packs also hunt zebras. 2 dogs together are sufficient to make this herd a little nervous. Until very recently, hunting dogs were thought to kill for pleasure, but that's a fallacy. Here, a young wildebeest approaches a pack of resting dogs. Away from the safety of the herd, you'd think it was heading towards certain death. The dogs get up to watch the antelope. But though they're curious at this interruption to their siesta, they don't attack, even though the wildebeest presents an easy target. Probably they're simply not hungry. A hunting dog is about the size of an Alsatian, but the two aren't closely related. Its most prominent features are its huge ears and strange mottled coloration. No 2 dogs have the same markings, making it possible to identify the different dogs in a pack. This is the Genghis pack, named after a previous leader, by scientists studying the dogs on the Serengeti plains. That strange twittering noise is the dog's greeting call. Even in a small pack, the dogs have an order of social rank. This is Marcus, the top-ranking male. He's mostly black in color. Homer, second in rank, has more white markings. Ginger, the lowest-ranking male, is brindled. He's Homer's litter brother, but he looks a lot older than his 7 years. The only bitch is Carly. While the 3 males were born into the Genghis pack, Carly joined it from outside. This is a typical method of pack formation. Most hunting dog packs contain only a single female. If there are several females in a pack, the dominant one will normally drive the others away. The female of the pack has a close bond with the highest-ranking male, normally one of the older dogs. But in the Genghis pack, both Homer and Ginger are older than Marcus. Homer used to be the leader, but somehow Marcus managed to supplant him. Now, when lower-ranking Homer, on the right, greets Marcus, his fawning approach shows he's well aware of who's boss. Marcus, on the other hand, takes Homer's submission for granted. Though the ranks of the two males have been reversed, Homer is reluctant to relinquish his rights to Carly. The bitch seems quite content to accept the favors of both the male dogs. But Marcus, the darker male, clearly sees himself as Carly's rightful mate. He places himself as close as possible to the female, preventing Homer from doing the same. Without resorting to physical violence, he indicates that Carly is now his property. If the two males fought, it could undermine their efficiency as a hunting team. But Homer still hasn't given up. While Marcus is away, he takes the chance to renew acquaintance with the flirtatious Carly. The tryst is short-lived. Marcus hurries over, and this time Homer takes the hint. Now, when Carly and Marcus move off together, he doesn't try to follow. 2.5 months after mating, Carly will bear her pups. Marcus will almost certainly be their father. Carly opens up an old hyena burrow in preparation for her pups. When a female is due to give birth, the pack ceases its nomadic existence for the time being and hunts instead from the den site the female has chosen. Marcus comes to inspect the den his mate has selected. For the next 3 months, this will be home for Carly, Marcus, and the other males of the Genghis pack. Until they're between 3 and 4 weeks old, the new puppies remain underground in the burrow. Then, still a little wobbly on their feet, they begin to explore their surroundings. Their mother, Carly, is close at hand to look after them. The male dogs in the pack also play an important part in looking after the pups. Even at this age, the youngsters are already showing an interest in meat. 2 pups tussle over a scrap they found down in the den. Carly steps in to solve the problem of who's going to get the prize. She does. The puppies are hungry, and while they're small, they turn to their mother for nourishment. A female hunting dog has enough milk to rear a litter of up to 16 puppies. Though the puppies are contented, Carly doesn't fully relax even while she's suckling her litter, for the small puppies are vulnerable to other predators, like jackals. When one comes too near the den for her liking, Carly wastes no time in seeing it off. The jackal has no wish to meet the angry bitch. Carly doesn't give up the chase until the jackal is safely away from the den. Then she heads back to her pups. Though the jackal wouldn't have dared approach the puppies with Carly about, the experience has upset her. She decides to move the pups to another burrow nearby. She's not choosy about how she picks them up, but her strong jaws are amazingly gentle in moments like this. Moving 13 pups from one den to another is very time-consuming. Carly can only carry them one at a time. Fortunately, some of the others follow of their own accord. Sometimes the burrows are linked underground and the puppies find their way back to their original den. Carly patiently returns for another pup, but eventually she'll tire of transporting pups from one den to the other and let them find their new home for themselves. During the middle parts of both day and night, the Genghis pack rests at the den site. But in the early morning and again in the evening, the dogs rouse to go hunting. Before setting out, they indulge in a session of intensive greeting. Marcus, the dominant male, is among the first to rise. He moves from one dog to another, renewing contact after the long period of inactivity. Soon the whole pack is on its feet. The greeting ceremony generates excitement among the dogs, preparing them for the cooperative effort of the hunt to come. Though they joined in the greeting, the pups are too young to go hunting. They stay at the den site, usually with an adult dog to guard them. Away from the den, the dogs swing into an effortless trot, which they can keep up for hours. It's not long before the pack comes across a herd of wildebeest. Marcus, the lead dog, tries to frighten them into stampeding. The wildebeest stand their ground. But soon the sight of the dogs running in their midst makes the wildebeest lose their nerve. Now they've got the herds moving, the dogs are watching to see if any one of the galloping animals is slower or weaker than its companions. That's the one the dogs will concentrate on, pursuing it relentlessly, even ignoring nearer animals which might cross their path during the chase. Although they're single-minded in their pursuit, the dogs aren't guaranteed a kill. Though Marcus is the fastest dog in the pack, he's not going to waste energy if he can't find a likely target among the milling herds. But the dogs are hungry, and they don't give up easily. They go into action a second time. They must get the herds on the move again before they can single out an animal to hunt. The wildebeest start to panic. This time, a clear victim emerges from the melee. The dogs have picked on a calf with its mother. A single dog is no match for an angry wildebeest, even when it's brought to bay. The first dog on the scene can't do much except harass the mother. But reinforcements are on the way. As the other dogs race up, the calf's chance of escaping dwindles. With 3 dogs to distract her, the wildebeest has a hard job protecting her calf. But she puts up a spirited defense. 2 of the dogs combine to drive her off. But she hasn't given up yet. The third dog already has a hold on the calf. The others drive its mother away a second time, and the calf is now certainly doomed. But the valiant mother returns for yet another rescue attempt. Finally, she realizes further effort is futile. With the calf now dead, the dogs have already started to feed. The mother returns to the watching herd. It takes the dogs only a few minutes to finish eating the calf. Then they head back to the den. When the first dogs arrive, there's no sign of the pups. During the long wait while the pack was away hunting, they've retired to the safety of the burrow to sleep. The adults call them out. The pups aren't merely pleased to see them. They know the adults have brought them food from the kill. The pup's begging attitude stimulates each returning dog into regurgitating part of its hard-won meal. Though they're still suckling, the pups are quite able to deal with the pre-digested meat the adults share with them. Any adult dog which stayed behind with the pups is fed in the same way. Though all the dogs share in feeding them, the pups are never satisfied. Homer, the second-ranking male, has already fed them several times. Now all he wants is to be left in peace. Though the pups pester him, he's unwilling to part with any more of his meal. As the pups grow, they acquire the blotched markings of the adult dogs. They also begin to spend more time playing. An old piece of antelope skin becomes the center of a tug-of-war. Games like this help to strengthen the puppy's muscles and teeth, ready for the time when they'll need them in earnest. When an Egyptian vulture visits the den to glean scraps from the dog's last meal, the pups are overcome with curiosity. They stalk the vulture, though it's clearly not interested in the game. Other, more sinister visitors are attracted to the den. Though the pups are growing fast, they're not yet safe from marauding hyenas. But the adult dogs are on hand to protect them. Though the two species pay each other scant regard if they meet on the plains, the dogs won't tolerate hyenas anywhere near their pups. The hyena races away. Its fat rump is very vulnerable to the sharp teeth of the angry dogs. By the time they're 2 months old, the pups are strong enough to travel short distances. Now, when the pack leaves the den to hunt, the puppies go along too. They have to run to keep pace with the easy stride of their elders. The pups aren't yet ready to join in the hunt itself. When they feel the pups have come far enough, the adults wait for them to catch up. Then they're told very definitely to stay put. If they followed the adults now, they'd be in the way. They must stay where they've been left. Otherwise, the pack may not find them again. The adults move off on their own. With the pups out of the way, the dogs can begin the serious business of hunting. The pups no longer have a babysitter, so the pack is again at full strength. The pups obediently settle down for another wait. Already the dogs are on the alert for game. When they come across a herd of wildebeest, there's no mistaking, they mean business. The wildebeest know this too, and start to run even before the dogs have stampeded them. As they trot alongside, the dogs are studying form, looking for that one animal which might prove fractionally slower than all the others. The dogs have already selected their quarry from among the herd. Now they'll stay with this group, following relentlessly in the hope that their intended victim will become separated from its fellows. dogs soon reach their top speed of 35 miles an hour. During a long chase, the pack becomes spread out, but the slower members help to increase its efficiency. They're able to follow the direction of the hunt from a distance, cutting off corners to catch up with the leaders again. It reduces the chances of the quarry escaping even further. As the dogs pile on the pressure, the wildebeest start to break formation. This is the moment the dogs have been waiting for. As soon as the dogs have caught their victim, the herds stop running. They know the dogs won't need to hunt again for some time. After eating their fill, the dogs return to the waiting pups. They may have to backtrack several miles, but despite the vastness of the plains, they know exactly where to find them. As each dog returns, it's met by a horde of puppies clamoring for food. Sometimes the dogs are so generous in feeding the pups, there can't be much left in their own stomachs at all. After the pups have been fed, the whole pack heads back to the den. In the weeks to come, the pups will accompany the adults further on their expeditions. This helps to toughen them up. One day, when the pups are around 3 months old, the whole pack will leave the den for good. Now the pups start their nomadic existence. Not all of them will survive to maturity. Despite the adults' protection, hyenas manage to take some. Distemper, the scourge of their domestic cousins, kills old and young hunting dogs alike. Perhaps only 2 or 3 of these puppies will reach adulthood, but they'll be the strongest ones. In recent years, hunting dogs have become rare on the plains of Africa. Why isn't clear, since they're very efficient predators with few natural enemies. But one enemy they've had to face is man. Until very recently, these dogs were branded as vermin to be shot on sight, simply because their ruthless hunting methods were considered inhumane to our way of thinking. Now, scientific studies have cast the dogs in a different light, as an important link in the ecology of the plains. By preying on the sick and the weak, the dogs help to maintain the quality and stability of the game herds. We may not like the way the hunting dog goes about its work, but that's no reason to give it a bad name in the first place.
More wild things tomorrow at the same time on 5, but from much closer to home. The dramas, heartbreaks and successes of a wildlife sanctuary in Wildlife SOS.